Welcome to One Brooklyn, presented by Brooklyn Borough President Eric L. Adams. On this edition of One Brooklyn, Brooklyn Borough President Adams joins with the Brooklyn Botanic Garden to award the winners in the 2019 Greenest Block in Brooklyn contest. This year marks the contest's 25th anniversary, and the contest is as popular as ever.
I mean, and you think about Brooklyn 25 years ago and how it was perhaps less green, and you saw things that weren't so good for street tree health and other things. I think more than anything, it's made these such livable, walkable, attractive places to be.
The contest is a great example of how government, private sector, and the community can all come together to create and also improve the community.
We're so proud of it. It really does serve the entirety of the borough, and as you know, Brooklyn is a very big place, so it's been marvelous to see how this has built community around something so positive, that where neighbors who didn't really know each other are now helping each other water their plants and are getting together for street events and things like that. It's amazing, and we're so proud to be a part of it. We're so proud of our sponsors. National Grid been with us forever, the Brooklyn Community Foundation, and this year Ponce de Leon Foundation, part of that bank, have joined. And so it's wonderful to see other community leaders recognize the importance of what we're doing here.
For a full list of winners and all the categories, visit bbg.org. This year's winning block for the Greenest Block in Brooklyn contest was Lincoln Place between Nostrand and New York Avenues in Crown Heights.
It's super excited, feel accomplished. It's not for myself, only for the neighbors that toiled early morning, late evening, and hoped for the best. It has happened.
They've been a long-time participant in the Greenest Block in Brooklyn contest, and it's helped bring the community and the block together.
Yes, in a major way, because we have many new residents that had to find themselves in the mix of past history, and it created such a blend. So the greening helped initiate the new residents with the old. We love that. We have a motto that we plant flowers and plants, but we grow beautiful friendships.
The Brooklyn Botanic Garden and the Borough President's office held a press conference at Lincoln Place, the winning block, to award all the participants and the winners in the 2019 Greenest Block in Brooklyn contest.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen how good my voice is carrying on beautiful Lincoln Place this morning. Good morning. Hello, I'm Scot Medbury, the president of Brooklyn Botanic Garden, and I'm delighted to welcome you all to the winning block of the Greenest Block in Brooklyn on our 25th anniversary. A block that has worked so hard. I mean, all the blocks worked very hard, but it's been magnificent to watch this block green itself in all its corners. So this is, in fact, the 25th anniversary of the contest, so it's a landmark year for us. I want to thank all of you who have come out today and for being here and for supporting community greening across our entire borough. It's incredible to think about this contest now being in its 25th year. That's a quarter century of neighbors working together all spring and all summer, and this summer particularly challenging and how hot it's been, and a quarter century of city blocks coming alive with plants, and a quarter century of shared connections and friendships through gardening. This contest supports communities coming together to address issues unique to living in a densely populated urban environment. Greening in limited streetscape space, you don't have a lot of space to do it in, street tree care, which is kind of fundamental to making this work, the use of smart, sustainable horticultural practices, and more importantly than ever, water conservation, really an emerging thing, something in the Northeast we wouldn't have thought about so much in past decades. The contest calls on neighbors to come together in their greening and to pass along their horticultural knowledge to each other and to the next generations. And we are always inspired by how generous each of the blocks are with one another and doing workshops. Our recent Making Brooklyn Bloom, where a past winner shared all of their techniques, so that's all phenomenal as well. The work makes blocks and neighborhoods healthier, more connected, more walkable, more resilient. The remarkable entries this year are evidence of sustained commitment to horticultural best practices and to community involvement. This year's contest drew entries from 160 blocks across Brooklyn, from 30 neighborhoods spanning the entire borough, and as always, the competition was friendly but fierce. This year's, it's one of those things, we always say everybody wins, but we have a winning block here. Yes, nice. This year's residential block winner, Lincoln Place, has entered the contest for several years. But it was clear last year when this block took second place, they were going to be a force to be reckoned with. And they were. And so touche to them. Now, the moment you step onto this beautiful winning block, you know you have arrived. From corner to corner, the block's gardeners and tree stewards have created a rich sensory experience. Dense shade cools the air. The sound of bubbling water rises from fish ponds. Vibrantly colored planters greet you along the sidewalk. Everywhere you look, there's some new horticultural treasure. Now, here's a word for you that, for those of you who don't know, from kokedama, suspended in the air, that's these wonderful hanging art pieces, horticultural art pieces, to tree species identified with signage to tell you what kind of tree it is, to all kinds of things. The most creative use of upcycled and whimsical containers, all of that has come together to make this block just really very special. So congratulations again, Lincoln Place. Now, every year we see blocks becoming more and more adept at using native plants and pollinator plants in their gardening. This year we had a special treat of seeing this work pay off by witnessing a great proliferation of butterflies, bees, and other pollinators on the greenest blocks across the borough doing their own part to green up Brooklyn. On a personal note, now some of you may know this is my last year as president of Brooklyn Botanic Garden. After 14 exhilarating years of leading the institution and through a transformation of the 52-acre garden, I have made a sort of a capstone career decision to lead a small botanical garden back in Northern California where I came from and to help them sort of get going strong. Brooklyn Botanic Garden will remain very strong, and I feel very proud to hand the baton off at this time, and especially in our community greening commitment. So I think that you guys will all be fine, and it's a little bit touching as we start to enter into the next 6 months. I'm still not going until next February to saying goodbye and thinking about all the great work we've done together. So I'm really grateful to all of you and your partnership. Thank you for that. Now, community greening programs like the Greenest Block in Brooklyn contest, the Brooklyn Urban Gardener Stewardship Training Program, our Street Tree Stewardship Program, and moreover, all of these programs bring Brooklyn Botanic Garden out into communities throughout the borough to support residents in creating greener neighborhoods through gardening and conservation. We're grateful that all of the wealth of experience and knowledge and insight comes back to the garden as well. So it's a two-way street, and we're really grateful for that. Now, we're proud of the work done by our community greening team. We've got some fabulous leaders in this. I want to ask you to hold your applause and let's just see them all. The terrific team that makes these programs possible: Mark Fisher, the Vice President of Horticulture; Nina-Browne, the Community Program Manager; Maureen O'Brien, Community Field Manager; Shaquana Boykin, Community Outreach Assistant, as well as Teddy Tedesco, the Manager of the New York City Compost Program in Brooklyn, hosted by BBG, and also the rest of the entire New York City Compost team based at the garden. It's a big outfit that does community greening, and we're so proud. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm a 40-plus year veteran of American public gardens, but what we do here in Brooklyn stands apart across the nation. That it's amazing that the garden is beyond the walls and gates of the garden, out in the neighborhoods, partnering with all of you to make this place phenomenal. So very special. I know you all recognize that, but I'll tell you, it's really not that way in a lot of other American communities. So Brooklyn is very, very fortunate in that regard, in my view. Now, I also want to thank National Grid, who's the major sponsor of our community greening program. Their support and partnership and ongoing participation are instrumental to the continued success of this competition and to all of our community greening work. So thanks to National Grid, we can give special recognition today for leadership in sustainable practices in neighborhood greening, and so that award will be presented as well. I also want to thank a new partner, the Ponce de Leon Foundation, sponsor of the Greenest Block in Brooklyn contest. Thank you very much. That's fantastic to have that bank, and they're wonderful partners. And finally, thank you so much to the Brooklyn Community Foundation, a longtime BBG supporter and founding sponsor of this contest. We're so grateful to have their ongoing support for BBG's community greening programs throughout. We have two fabulous elected officials with us, representing first our great borough president in this great borough, Ingrid Lewis-Martin, representing Eric Adams, borough president. Let's welcome Ingrid. You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Scott.
Great.
For the record, I'm Chaplain Ingrid P. Lewis-Martin, and I am the Deputy Brooklyn Borough President, and it's indeed an honor for me to be here to represent Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, who couldn't be here. President Adams and I are very familiar with this block and this street in particular. He was a police officer for many years in Brooklyn. I'm a resident of Crown Heights, and I have a few friends who live on this block and the neighboring block. So President Adams and I have known each other for about, I don't know, 30-odd years. And we spent many a nights on this particular block. So to see it now win the award as the greenest block is awesome. Many of you longtime residents know what this block was like in the 80s. So for it to become such a rich wealth in our community with individuals who live here, who care about gardening, who care about our youth, and who care about the future is really quite impressive. So we're really proud of P.L.A.N.t.s, this particular block. So we want to commend you for doing a stellar job, an outstanding job. We give thanks to the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens for always having such a wonderful event. 25 years, that's a very long time. For something to have sustainability on that level and to have it as a milestone in the community of Crown Heights is really, truly impressive. We want to thank all of the sponsors, all three of the sponsors, as were mentioned by Scott, in particular, National Grid, who does so many outstanding sponsorship throughout Brooklyn, and in particular with the office of the Brooklyn Borough President. So Brooklyn Borough President Eric L. Adams is a green enthusiast. He really understands the need for green sustainability in order for our youth to have a better tomorrow, in order for us to have a bright day today. He's poured millions and millions of dollars and reinvested millions and millions of dollars into sustainability. He's partnered with the Botanic Gardens. He's doing a new partnership with you, I believe, in the upcoming years for a new building that you want to create. Yep. So we understand the importance of it. So we commend all of the different neighborhoods and all of the different parks, blocks, who participated in today's event. But we want to give a special round of applause and a special salute to today's winners. So you please clap for P.L.A.N.t.s. And without any further ado, it's indeed an honor for me to present the 25th Annual Greatest Block Contest Proclamation to a representative from P.L.A.N.t.s. So who will come here from P.L.A.N.t.s so I can do the proclamation? I need somebody from P.L.A.N.t.s, Lincoln Place. Don't be shy.
Here we go.
Thank you. P.L.A.N.t.s. So I am sure that these two ladies are probably the driving force behind Lincoln, three ladies behind Lincoln Place winning today. It takes a village. I mean, you know, it's a block event, it's a block commitment, but there are always people who put forth that extra energy and that extra support. I'm taking a wild guess that the people who are standing with us are those who are responsible. So I'm going to give you a special round of applause as well. So it's a proclamation. It is signed by our Brooklyn Borough President. I will read the last paragraph because it's quite lengthy. It reads, whereas on behalf of all Brooklynites, I salute Brooklyn Botanic Garden, Greenest Block, and Brooklyn Contest for connecting Brooklyn residents to the world of plants, fostering delight and curiosity while inspiring an appreciation and sense of stewardship of the environment, for inspiring people of all ages through the conservation, display, and enjoyment of plants. I applaud their innovative and unique contest, which provides people of all ages through the discussion, display, and enjoyment of plants, including educational programs that emphasize learning by doing and encouraging research that focuses on understanding and conserving regional plants and plants community. I commend them for their dedicated efforts in galvanizing residents, young and old, to join in the efforts of community building through planting, greening, and beautification, created by groups of residents seeking to improve their neighborhoods. I acknowledge hundreds of blocks entering the contest each and every year with an estimated 30,000 Brooklynites who directly and annually are impacted by their efforts. And I thank them for the exemplary leadership they have shown towards improving the quality of life for others and for all that they have done to help our community move forward as one Brooklyn. Now, therefore, I, Eric L. Adams, President of the Borough of Brooklyn, do hereby proclaim Thursday, August 8th, 2019 as 25th Annual Greenest Block Contest in Brooklyn, USA. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the Borough of Brooklyn to be affixed this 8th day of August 2019. It is signed by the Brooklyn Borough President. Scott, you have to come too, the Botanic Gardens, but we need a representative. So please, my pleasure.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Ingrid. Woohoo. Thank you. Beautiful.
So again, we commend P.L.A.N.t.s, all of the contestants. We thank all of the sponsors, our Brooklyn Botanic Garden. We want to encourage people to continue working towards green sustainability, and we want the youth to see that you are our future. Keep this going. 25 years is only the tip of the iceberg. Blessings. Take care.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Ingrid. Well, we also are graced with the presence of a phenomenal new state senator in our borough. And I don't know about how new, pretty new, still new, but an amazing leader, Zellnor Myrie. He doesn't represent the garden specifically. He's about a block away, but close enough. Because I will say, you know, what we say with the city council, with the state assembly, and certainly with the state senate, that Brooklyn Botanic Garden is in every Brooklyn senate, assembly, and council district. And this contest really represents that. We're everywhere. So we can claim you as well. Let's give it up for Zellnor Myrie, a great leader in our state government. You're welcome.
Good morning, Lincoln Place. All right, this is a celebration. I am State Senator Zellnor Myrie. I have the honor of representing Crown Heights in the New York State Senate, but I want to say today on behalf of my entire Senate district, congratulations to Lincoln Place for winning the Greenest Block in the borough. Now, I don't represent the Botanic Garden, but I am a member. And although that I'm a member, I don't know much about plants or about horticulture. But what I do know is that there is something salubrious about being surrounded by green. It is healthy for our mental health. It is good for our spiritual health. It is good for our physical being. And so I am so proud to see the accomplishment of this block, to see how people have come together, to see the unity and the work that it takes to win this competition. Now, I'm going to do a little bragging for the Senate district because last year, the winner of this competition was also in the 20th State Senate District. All right, so we are 2 years in the row running, so next year, it better be back in the 20th District as well. Again, I want to say congratulations to all of you. We are so proud of you. Continue the work, and hopefully we'll be back here next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Fantastic. So let me catch myself up here a little bit. So, I'm now honored to present this award to the 2019 Greenest Residential Block winner, Preserving Lincoln's Abundant Natural Treasures, P.L.A.N.T.s. You heard about P.L.A.N.T.s? That's what it stands for. Let's give it up and welcome Althea Joseph and others to accept the award. Congratulations. So beautiful. Congratulations. You're welcome. Please. So if you would make a few remarks, please. Sure. Thank you. Excuse me.
Oh, I'm short. That's how you do that? Did you tilt this down?
Oh, yes,
I'm too
certainly.
short.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Let's see. How's that?
Good. Welcome, everyone. And thank you for being here. So many of you are here. I never thought I would be nervous, but I'm a little bit nervous. But I'll look at all of you and think you're a family, which you are. And I want to thank the Botanic Gardens, first of all. And I want to say this about the Botanic Gardens. It's such a pleasure to be around you and to hear from you and to speak to you, with you, and to be encouraged. So I think your influence of the ease of doing all of this has influenced us and is so contagious. So it was so easy getting this done in essence because of the ease that you bring the project to us. So first we want to say thank you for that. And we want to thank our sponsors that are here, National Grid and others. And we want to thank all of the other blocks that came out in support of the conference today. And we want to say thank you so much to our neighbors who are so welcoming. We have neighbors that are just 2 days old to neighbors that are 90-something years old. So we want to celebrate that. And one thing that comes to mind that one of the classes, the Botanic Gardens, has every year, I couldn't attend the first one last year, and Perry said to me, this is Perry Beverly, She said to me, you know, it takes 8 years to accomplish the Greenest Block. And I believe we did it in 8 months last year. Through a lot of celebrations, we had stoop nights, sip and celebrate, where we all hung out together and mentoring each other. There were sponsors from financial help to extending of the hose from 50 feet to 150 feet. So everybody contributed. And there was only one frenemy in the mix. And that was the weather.
Oh.
She became our enemy, sort of, the weekend before the finals, when it was over 100 degrees and we were peddling water all over the place. But she became our friend last night because we didn't have to water. So we love her as much as we love our trees. We also want to thank Connor Green. Many of you may not know this. We're unveiling this now. That's Connor Green. They gave us a grant for our tree beds. And we did a tree adoption and fostering of the trees, which Vicky, our other member, she heads up the fostering and tree adoption. So Vicky had to travel for a family reunion, so she's not here. But the fostering, many of you have been watering, taking care of the trees, giving funds to plant along with what we already received. But at our Sip and Celebrate, we will be doing a tree adoption. So you would tell us if you want to continue the move along with the fostering into adoption. So, which is similar to adopting a kid. So, and we have 27 trees on the block. And just informational, you may wonder, where did we find out the names of the trees? The Parks Department. Visit their website. It's awesome. You could just maneuver that mouse into your street, gives you your tree by address, and some history and when they took care of it. So it's a little tip for next year's contestants. So great. So now I would like to introduce Perry, and she would give a couple words, and then I would, Bevy, if she would like to. I would like to call anyone who's wearing the shirts. My husband, Edwin Joseph, please come up. Yes. Come on, bring Cassidy. Bring Cassidy. So Edwin was key, along with Toby. Where's Toby? Getting the tree beds healthy, because we had a lot of cinder blocks and different harmful, I should say, objects in there that we had to remove and to begin the nurturing. And I want to thank all of the neighbors who felt the yes in them to say, take care of this. And I would compliment you also, because just doing that little step influenced a little more. It took it to the window boxes, took it to the stoops, and much more. So we want to thank you for that. And this is Edwin. And of course, I brought my granddaughter up, because she had to eat her cereal in the stroller. I don't think Mom would see this video, though, while we were watering. So, and Lily here had to sit outside with her grandma as well, helping us to plant and do the needful. So they're involved as well. So if you want to say something quickly. Yes. So we'll ask Perry to say something.
Good morning. I've lived on this block 30 plus years. This is the greenest I've ever seen it. I love it. We were really interested in this award years ago. My mom used to put this block in. Miss Hyson Spence, God bless her soul, she used to put it in the next block. And we used to meet up and talk about, wouldn't it be fabulous to have our blocks look like the winners? Whenever we would hear who the winner was, I would race to that block, and I would go up and down the street. I would talk to people in front. I made new friends. And we would even go to the ceremony at Borough Hall as if we knew these people. We didn't know them, but we went to cheer them on, and I would ask them, how did you do it? That would be my main question. How did you do it? People on the street on the winning block, I'd ask, how did you do it? Now people come to us and ask, how did you do it?
Bev? Okay, Bev is shy. So we have Vivian and Toby. If you don't want to speak. No, I think Vivian will speak. Okay, I'll speak for Vivian. Vivian would show up at the door every weekend. I'm going upstate. What do you guys want? We're going to bring back everything. So a lot of our plants, our ferns, or different things, that's where the initial beginning came from. Toby would be called on at any time. We need to move a brick over here. We need to move something. I'm coming. So he's the right hand that we were missing. And I would say something about plants. It's just forming itself naturally. There is no calling on. It's just that people are just coming in and just getting grafted into the vine of plant. And I'm looking at Jim over there. Jim is a big sponsor for us too. Yeah. And I can see him grafted in, the fingers looking like it's gonna get like mine with a little dirt on the bottom. So then we have Sandra, who's hiding in the back. Chandra is our chef. You should see the spread over there. And she doesn't want it to be mixed with anything else. I offered to. She said, no, I got it. And she's here looking like she never did anything. You want to say something about Sandra? Yeah, Sandra don't want to say it. Yeah. So, and Edwin, I know he wouldn't speak. So.
Well, let's give it up for Lincoln Place.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. We'll do some photos. Well, we have a winning commercial block as well, and a special pleasure to welcome the Montague Street Business Improvement District, but somebody I haven't seen in some years. And where'd she go? Kate Chura, I believe, is here to accept the award. And there she is, who is a great New York City greener, formerly of the Horticultural Society of New York. Last I knew, she moved to Georgia, but she's back running a business improvement district. So a very green one. So let's give it up for the Montague Street Business Improvement District and Kate Chura, a fantastic leader. Congratulations. Thank you. Hi. Hello. Nice to meet you, Stella. Please, ladies.
Sure. How amazing to be here. Scott doesn't know because it was before his time, but I was also a judge for the Greenest Block in Brooklyn. So I have a long horticulture background. And Lincoln Place is one of my favorite blocks. So congratulations, everybody. And so we're here today representing the Montague Street Business Improvement District and Montague Street. And the person who really makes Montague Street the beautiful green block that it is Estella Johansson, next to me. But also the spirit of the community on Montague Street. Everybody is invested in the green on the block, and we have an amazing amount of trees and tree lovers, and you feel the spirit throughout the entire block. Everybody from residents to shop owners get involved in keeping our streets looking beautiful, and I should say that Estella has done an amazing job this year. So I'd like actually to have Estella come up and say a few words, because she's really the artist and the passionate gardener on Montague Street.
Give it up for Estella.
Thank you. Well, like this beautiful block that just fills me with joy. Even though we are in a residential, not residential but commercial, we're very blessed to have 50 trees in our district with 4 containers to attach to each tree pit. So I do dance in the rain. And I bless the rain because that's 200 window boxes that we have to water almost every day. It gives me an honor to win this contest. The idea is for us to be more of a community and not just commercial. And it has worked this year. Children smile, children observe us in the neighborhood. We have a lot of senior citizens in our neighborhood also who we are planning on getting involved more and more. So that is our next project for next year, to work with senior citizens and local schools so children get involved because they are the future and somebody has to continue, not me. But I thank Kate, the Montague Street Business Improvement District. Even though we have a very, very small budget, doesn't mean that our streets cannot look like Madison Avenue and Fifth Avenue, who have, of course, millions of dollars in their budget. So we are just very much inspired by this block, and we're gonna make it work as much as we can. And I thank the Brooklyn Botanic Garden for their support throughout the year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. Terrific. Well, I mentioned that our lead sponsor for the contest, National Grid, has, and for all of our community greening efforts, has created an award, the Leadership in Sustainable Practices Award. And here representing National Grid, a terrific friend of community greening and of Brooklyn Botanic Garden, Renee McClure. Let's give Renee a warm welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we are an energy company, so we need to bring the energy to the block. Good morning. Okay. Thank you. It is such a pleasure to be here. You know, I actually walked this block during the judging process. I am one of the judges. I won't tell you that I got called out on another block. They actually identified me, but that's okay. And I was incognito, by the way. At least I thought I was. But it is such a pleasure to be here today. This is awesome. I think we have beautiful weather, beautiful shade, a beautiful project, and most importantly, a beautiful people. So on behalf of National Grid, first of all, I just want to say thank you, Scott, for all that you do for the garden, for National Grid. We are going to miss you. I will personally miss you because you have been a stellar in all the things that you do. And so let's just give Scott a round of applause. And then let's give the winning block again another round of applause. Woo-hoo! So my name is Renee McClure. I am the community manager for all of Brooklyn for National Grid, Community and Customer Management. On behalf of the National Grid team, it is my pleasure to congratulate all the participants and winners of this year's Greenest Block in Brooklyn, celebrating their 25th year. So again, let's give everyone a round of applause. One of the most rewarding ways in which National Grid partners with the Brooklyn Botanical Garden is through our sponsorship of the community greening programs, and in particular, our involvement in the Greenest Block of Brooklyn contest. As I mentioned before, I do some judging. We actually get in the car and we drive up several blocks. We have an opportunity to look at all the blocks that have been given to us to look at. And I'm gonna tell you, there are some amazing things going on in Brooklyn throughout the community, so all of you should be proud of what you're doing in all the areas. National Grid has been a part of this since 2013. It's been a category which we feel that is so important to us because it's important to give back to the community. It's important to recognize the importance of sustainability, and so that's why we're a part of this process. Just to give you some examples, one of the things that we look at when we're judging for our award is the high level of public engagement. Practices are visible, and education, and the visitors and the passerbys who get involved with their particular block, the innovation that's on the block, the energy and the resources and the savings that we see, the ecological sustainability, and the high level of collective organization that serves to build a community. And we saw that in this particular block that we chose this year. This year's recipient of the National Grid Leadership and Sustainability Practices Award is 300 East 25th Street. Let's give them a round of applause, and please ask them to join me up here. So I have to tell you, as they're coming up, we were walking down the street, and I did tell you I got a shout out, and someone says, "I know you." And I said, "Because we've seen you before." Because you've seen me before. And I said, "I know you," and I'm like, I'm supposed to be incognito. You're not even supposed to know I'm down this block. It just tells you, you never know who's gonna know you, right? So you have to be on your best behavior at all times. So thank you for the shout out. So this year's block, they did a phenomenal job. The block gardeners made exceptional use of vertical space by hanging flowering planters and pots that ensure that every small space is used for gardening. They did reducing waste from using compost to upcycling soda bottles into works of art, ample sidewalk planters, fluttering pollinators, and uplifting signage welcome all passersbyers. And when I told you about the signs on the block, they were so welcome. You had so many great signs. I was taking pictures of your signs. I took pictures of other blocks too, but I was taking a number of pictures on your block of the signs that you had. Ample youth are in the center of most every block activity, with children engaging in the water plantings, making signage, and building tree guards from reused material. Residents on the block also promoted civic action and urban stewardship through their neighbors, to their neighborhoods and beyond, guiding other blocks, welcoming every opportunity to listen and reach out. For example, their next door neighbors and mentees, East 26th Street Block Association, won this very award last year, and just this past spring, a group of those gardeners graciously accepted an invitation to share their wisdom with a new beautification campaign in Canarsie. So despite winning first place residential 5 times over the number of years, placing numerous other times and taking awards in virtually every other category, 300 East 25th Street always has something new in store, and again, they outdid themselves this year. These incredible, generous mentors are on a mission to make Flatbush a model gardening neighborhood, and they are succeeding. Let's give them a round of applause for all the work they're doing, all the mentoring that they're doing, and all the community give back. Thank you so much for making a difference. And once again, congratulations to East Block, 300 East 25th Street, and all the winners and all the participants of this year's contest. Again, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
We know you. I'm going to put on a hat next year. Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Could we welcome Julia Charles up to make remarks, please?
On behalf of the 300 East 25th Street Block Association, thank you so much, Brooklyn Botanic Gardens and National Grid, for this honor and distinction. I want to give a special shout out, of course, to our gardening mentors, and I'll name them all. Hey, Miss Hazel Dean, Miss Pauline Green, Miss Grace Henry, she's not here, Miss Vera Tony, and our Bayesian bombshell, Miss Carol Wilson. So now more than ever, it's become increasingly important to preserve the beauty of Brooklyn, to preserve the beauty of our local environment. And so it's an honor for us to green our community, to protect our community, and we are so thankful to have this distinction here. I also want to give a special shout out to Ms. Nina-Browne. If anyone dares to plant anything in Brooklyn, that is your resource. And also to P.L.A.N.T.s. Your block is absolutely beautiful. It's creative. It's inspiring. I feel inspired as much as we won so many times. But I hope that you guys inspire others and we continue to green our beautiful Brooklyn. Thank you.
Now I have the honor of announcing the second, third, and fourth place winners in the residential and commercial categories. So in the second place for residential, we had a tie. We had the 300 East 25th Block Association tied with the Stuyvesant Avenue Block Association, which is Stuyvesant Avenue between Bainbridge and Chauncey Street. So give it up to the second place winners. Congratulations. For third place, the 400 Bainbridge Street Block Association, which is Bainbridge Street between Howard and Saratoga Avenues. Third place winners, fantastic. And lastly, for fourth place, the East 26th Street Block Association, which is East 26 between Avenue Dewey and Clarendon Road. So all hard workers. And I just would underscore we all know what a hot summer this has been. To keep all this green and keep it all lush and fabulous is really a dedication that is very special this summer, I think. So now in the commercial category, we had a second place winner, which is Green Tompkins Avenue between Putnam and Jefferson Avenues in Bedford-Stuyvesant. So hand it to them. Now my pleasure to introduce Mark Fisher, Vice President of Horticulture, who will come up and make some things. So let's give it up for Mark. Welcome, Mark.
Hello, everyone. What a gorgeous day. As Scott said, I'm Mark Fisher, Vice President of Horticulture at Brooklyn Botanic Garden. I'm so excited to be celebrating the 25th anniversary of Greenest Block in Brooklyn with all of you today. I hope you will stop by Community Greening over here and the New York City Compost Project tables with your questions, meet the team, pick up urban garden information, and sign up for our e-newsletter. Competing in the Greenest Block is a labor of love. We at BBG continue to be inspired by Brooklyn's neighborhood gardeners. Despite countless challenges, the gardening on our busy sidewalks, you persevere with beauty and generosity. So a huge thank you to all of you for making the judging so fun and so agonizing at the same time. Altogether, more than 15 people judged this year's Greenest Block in Brooklyn contest. We faced some of the most challenging weather, as you all know, in the 25 years, though the rain has sure made everything lush by this point. First round judges, Anandi Premlal and Brandon Otis, who's around here, over here. Thank you for your thoughtful feedback that you gave to each and every one of the more than 150 blocks that entered the contest this year. Many thanks also to the semifinal and final round judges too, and a special thanks to the staff who supported our team this year by sharing more than 250 miles of driving. Claudia Navis, over here, Leonard Paul, and Will Wallace. Thank you. Thanks must also go to BBG Community Greening Field Manager Maureen O'Brien, who enthusiastically led our walk and talk blocks visit this season and does so much more to support the contest. And lastly, thanks to BBG's Community Garden Manager Nina-Browne, who keeps the contest organized. You know, she writes your email newsletters, answers your questions, and facilitates the annual Insider Tour event, which this year was hosted by last year's winning block of Lefferts Avenue between Bedford and Rogers. All right. And now I'd like to invite Nina up to the podium to announce our remaining winners, and congratulations to all of you.
Hey everybody, it is always such a pleasure to see everybody come out today. Thank you so much. Thank you to Lincoln Place for hosting us this morning. Isn't this an experience? You know, we had a suspicion last year that we might be here today, and I'm so grateful for that hunch became a reality. Congratulations. I know it's not easy. Thank you for saying I brought you some ease, but I know this isn't easy. It's really, really hard and joyful work. Thank you for doing so much, Lincoln Place. And I know that you're considering hosting us for an Insider Tour next year, right? No pressure, but you guys are already, you're up here teaching. You were teaching us already. So let me, without further ado, announce and celebrate the remaining winners. I'm going to start with the Greenest Storefront in Brooklyn. No stranger to first place. It's the third time they've won. Third place is Pro One Tire, entered by 27th Street Block Association in Sunset Park. This was a very competitive category this year. Second place goes to a restaurant, entered by Waverly Green Group in Clinton Hill. In third place, we have Cafe Steinhoff, entered by 14th Street 6th and 7th Block Association in Park Slope. And an honorable mention for Greenest Storefront goes to Honey Badger Restaurant, entered by Fenimore 1 Block Association in Prospect Lefferts Gardens. In the category of Best Street Tree Beds, first place goes to 2 blocks of Tilder Block Association, East 32nd Street between Tilden and Snyder Avenues, and Snyder Avenue between East 32nd Street and New York Avenue in East Flatbush. Second place tree beds goes to 8th Street Block Association, 8th Street between 3rd and 4th Avenues in Gowanus. Third place, Best Street Tree Beds goes to 200 Decatur Street, Stuyvesant Avenue Block Association, Decatur Street between Stuyvesant and Lewis in Bedford-Stuyvesant. And we also have 2 honorable mentions for tree beds. Ocean by the Park Tree Club, Ocean Avenue between Lincoln Road and Parkside Avenue in Prospect Lefferts Gardens, and Fenimore 1 Block Association, Fenimore Street between Flatbush and Bedford Avenues in Prospect Lefferts Gardens. In the category of Best Community Garden Streetscape, we have 1 winner. First place goes to Nehemiah 10 Community Garden, Barbie Street between Blake and Dumont Avenues in East New York. Congratulations. We had a bunch of window box winners this year. Overwhelming number of great window boxes. Hyacinth Johnson and Hazel Carter, both of Tilder Block Association in East Flatbush, tied for first place. Tying for second place, we had 245 Claremont Avenue, entered by Claremont Block Association in Fort Greene, and 236 Sterling Street, entered by 200 Sterling Street Block Association in Prospect Lefferts Gardens. In Bedford-Stuyvesant, 97 Decatur Street of 2nd Decatur Street Block Association, they tied for third place with the DeLeva family's window box, entered by Warren Street Block Association in Park Slope. And earning an honorable mention in the window box category was Georgette Modica of Bay Ridge Blooms in Bay Ridge. Congratulations. Last but not least, I need to honor all the residential blocks that earned overall honorable mentions. So many of these blocks have been stalwart champions of the contest for many, many years, some all 25 years, and their consistent excellence must be appreciated. So, with an overall honorable mention, we have 27th Street between 4th and 5th Avenues, Bainbridge Street between Lewis and Stuyvesant Avenues, Decatur Street between Stuyvesant and Stuyvesant and Lewis Avenues, East 32nd Street between Snyder and Tilden Avenues, East 48th Street between Avenues J and K, Flatland 7th Street between East 108th Street and Fresh Creek, Hancock Street between Patchen and Ralph Avenues, Lincoln Road between Bedford and Rogers Avenues, Maple Street between Bedford and Rogers, Sterling Place between 7th and Flatbush Avenues, Sterling Street between Bedford and Washington Avenues, and of course, the block where the contest really began 25 years ago and where they haven't stopped since, Vanderveer Place between Flatbush and East 23rd Street. Congratulations to each and every block that joined in the greening of Brooklyn this year. I invite you to our website at bbg.org/Greenest Block to see photos of all of these remarkable winners. Thanks again, everybody. I'm going to hand it back to Scott.
Well, here, so it's a little wrap here. You guys have all been very patient, and it's wonderful to be out here and to do this. So I just want to thank everyone that has come on out to do this. We're going to do a little photography and everything, but just congratulations again to all of you for being here. We really lucked out with a beautiful day for this, didn't we, given how it's been? And we hope we'll see you next summer and all summers going. And I'll come back for the 50th anniversary. So we look forward to that. Thank you very much.